we are going to go to the next story for me and Roger. We're going to call this the State of the Union. And Rod, since we're staying on the Joe Biden story, Robert declined to prosecute him, but he said that his practices presented serious risk to national security, which I don't know if you guys, that's not good. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
They also show willful retention of classified documents. Again, I keep reading on MSNBC and CNN them saying, "Oh, there was no willfulness found." No, they obviously haven't read the document.
Yeah, exactly. And so they wouldn't charge him because he was an elderly man with poor memory, and they'd be sympathetic to a jury. So, Raj, if the president of the United States can't be held responsible for violations of the law because his mind is mush, how can anybody in their right mind, how are Americans not up on arms, especially when Trump was just running? They're like, we're going to give that guy the codes to nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. How are they not in the streets screaming because this guy literally can't?
Test?
Well, no, but
he can't do it. But he refused. He won't take a cognitive test. So according to his spokesperson yesterday, she said he won't take a cognitive test because he proves in his everyday activities how sharp he is.
Oh, he does.
He certainly does.
And they said to her, they go, what's his schedule like the next 2 days? She goes, he doesn't have anything on the schedule.
He went in front of the camera and said, listen, I'm not talking to any of you for 2 days.
Remember, he does more in an hour than most people do in a day, according to the administration.
He actually, I think he virtually never has public appearances after 5 o'clock.
I agree with you.
And neurologists who have kind of watched the videos of him, this tendency to forget what he's saying in the middle of a, well, never mind.
I do love that one, Raj. He was in Vietnam. I forgot. It was a couple months ago. And he's talking. He's out of breath. He's clearly been, because think about it, he had to fly to Vietnam, and they got him on the stage.
They put him in a coffin just in case.
Yeah, well, just mid thing, Raj. He's kind of out of breath because he walked the stage and he was like, I don't know about the rest of you guys. He says this verbatim. But I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
What president? Like, what an embarrassment! Sweet. And I'm actually pissed off that the average American Democrat, whatever you want to call yourself, you're not bothered by this guy. You would much rather have that guy, because remember, policy over personality. Donald Trump, mean, jerk guy, did everything. No terrorism, no attacks, no nothing. Economy, everything.
No new wars.
No new wars. Everything was perfect. But he was a mean guy. But the average, not the average, not our viewers, because you guys are freaking amazing. But the left, the Democrats are like, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong because they cannot admit that they messed up, Roger. Yeah. And I think that's the problem, is just say, listen, if it was me, just like Michael Rappaport did, which I was shocked, hey, listen, we effed up. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I was duped. They were very good. All I've ever watched, my family has watched CNN, MSNBC, they got me. Yep. But now I see the light and I get it. And I love that moment.
Is he a Trump guy?
Who?
Is he a Trump guy now?
Well, right now he said it's not off the table. He said he's going to vote.
That's the thing.
I think Michael Rappaport will vote for Donald Trump. If this is what's happening, he's not going to vote for Gavin Newsom.
But what if it's what if it's Obama, Michelle? Then he's back to going, hey, this is great again.
I think he might, but and that's going to be the true test of it, is if these people start doing the whole Trump is a Nazi bullshit and he's going to end the war, then I'm going to get very, very vocal, because that's enough is enough. You guys are seeing, and this is what pisses me off, Roger, with the Democratic Party. You guys had a chance. You guys had this 3 years. Show everybody how right you were and how crappy of a president Donald Trump was. You guys have had 3.5 years. Nothing is going right. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this when you talk to a leftist. What's going positive? You know what they say? The infrastructure. What are you talking? Yeah. Who? Are you kidding me?
We got doors falling off of planes on
I think they're talking about tents outside, the infrastructure.
Like, Raj, you tell me, like, Raj, isn't it mind-boggling? Like, have you even had an interaction with anybody that's on the other side, Raj, that's waking up?
I'll tell you, well, the most important thing, the thing most Americans are concerned about, is the survival of Ukraine. There's the number one issue in the country.
For sure.
Yeah. Never mind our border. We're concerned about the Ukrainian border.
Yeah.
And what you've seen since the release of the special counsel's report is this effort within the media to change the subject. So they take remarks by Donald Trump regarding NATO, which if you go back and read what he actually said, he's telling an old story. It's a complete distortion. But we now try to conflagrate that into a giant scandal. Mm-hmm. Biden attacks Trump view of NATO. This is an attempt to change the subject. Now today we have an announcement of a serious national security threat to the country that involves the Russians. We can't tell you what it is, but it needs to lead the news so we can get Joe Biden's falling down or his mental decline off the front pages and out of the lead of the evening news.
And I love that you say that, Raj. Beautiful that you leading me in. So that's off of what Roger just said, and this is the story right here. House Intel Chairman Mike Turner announces serious national, great timing, Raj, serious national security threat. Sources say it has been related to Russia. Weird. Him,
wag the dog.
Putin, I mean, yeah.
On the same day that the story breaks that the Central Intelligence Agency worked with foreign intelligence agents to spy on 26 associates and advisors to President Donald Trump. How ironic that that story would come out this afternoon to drown out the story this morning.
Yeah, isn't that weird? And then, yeah, what's up, guys? Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, this is. Is there a clip, Cal, or is this just a story?
No, it's just breaking news that the security threat can allegedly disable U.S. satellites.
Oh, great. So the national security threat can allegedly disable U.S. satellites. Oh, wow. So basically, they're predictive programming. They're letting us know what's happening. They're going to blame Russia. It's unbelievable that they are just trying to start a fight with this guy after, because Raj, I know you saw the Tucker Putin interview. What was, just really fast, what was your overall take on what happened? Who won? What was the benefits of it? And what did you learn from it then that you never knew about Putin?
It appeared to me like we had numerous opportunities to have both peace and a better relationship with Russia under presidents of both parties. And we reached agreements, the Minsk Accords, the Budapest Memorandum, that we then went back and violated. Weird. That was concerning. I think the historical record there is correct. No, I'm not a lover of Putin. Putin's an authoritarian. I have relatives of my own mowed down by Russian tanks in Moscow in Budapest in 1956. So I have no sympathy for him or for the Russian state. But I did think it was interesting because this idea that he has territorial aspirations for all of Eastern Europe, and if he takes Ukraine, he's going to go roll into Poland and Germany. He's never said that, Nikki Haley. Stop saying Putin has announced that, because he hasn't announced it. I think Putin made it very clear those weren't his concerns. His concerns, quite obviously, are NATO missiles funded by us on the ground in Ukraine, pointed at Russia in violation of two different agreements that we have signed saying that we would not do that. That's his concern.
And what about, is there a reason he decided to go in the final year and a half of Biden's administration? Because I think he didn't have any wars going on with Trump there. People saying that's because they were colluding together. But why would he make an actual aggressive move when Biden's there? Is it because when the cat is asleep and the mice are going to play, kind of a thing?
I think that he warned Washington repeatedly that if you violate your agreement and you seek to put these missiles in Ukraine, that we're going to have no choice. By the way, Biden himself said early on, we could settle this by giving the Donbass and certain other sections to Russia. There were two peace agreements that I think were scuttled, not by us and not by the Ukrainians and the Russians, but by Washington. So we had two solutions. Instead, hundreds of thousands of people have died, and we spent $250 billion, and obviously they want to send them more.
Yeah.
Makes very little sense.
Yeah, and that'll get to my point, Raj. So that's the hot topic, I think, right now, is the controversial foreign aid bill. It's actually insane how it started. The bill was proposed for what? The border, right? It was the emergency border. There's too many people coming in. In 4 years, it'll probably hit a realistic number, $20 to $22 million. And then it went, the House shut it down. And then isn't it just weird that a week later, Roger, they showed their true colors and like, listen, to hell with the border, to hell with America. We're going to try to shove this 95, guys, and I say this number, like everybody just throws around these numbers. Roger, you just said 220 billion, 250 billion. When you just say that, it kind of goes over our head. Do you guys realize how big of a number? It's $250 billion, okay? Yep. So the bill would include, to arm Ukraine in its fight against Russia, $60.1 billion for Kiev, which would bring the total to investment in the war effort over $200 million, as well as $14 billion for Israel's war against Hamas, and almost $10 billion for humanitarian aid for civilians in conflict zones, including Palestinians and Gaza. That's like just throw away money because so we don't we don't feel bad.
Basically,
so,
what that admits is
print more out.
And there was
both sides
a
of the
chunk
border.
in there for Taiwan as well.
Taiwan got some money in that. And mind you, like I said, our borders are finished. If you look in the streets, just Look at New York. Look at Philly, where there's literally zombies, homeless people. Everybody's dying in our streets. It's all about that. So, Raj, I want to know.
They're fighting the police.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, Raj, I want to know, when is this going to stop? Is it going to stop when it goes? Because it's going to go to the House. Is it the next week?
Yes, but the Speaker's already said this bill is dead on arrival.
It's done.
So he's now done two things I approve of. The largely symbolic impeachment of Mayorkas.
Beautiful.
Which I think is important to demonstrate that this guy's failed.
Right.
I saw Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, I think I have that right, saying this is outrageous because he's been so effective.
What?
He has been effective.
What world does she live in?
For them.
And then, obviously, there's very little chance of him being convicted in the Senate. So this is largely symbolic.
Yeah.
By the way, and I'm not for him, but it is, we learned today, Mayorkas personally, who made the decision to deny Robert F. Kennedy Secret Service protection.
Right.
Now, I'm not for Robert Kennedy.
Right, no.
Okay, but I'm also not for the assassination or injury to any presidential candidate. And given the fact that he's legally qualified for the protection and the fact that his uncle and his father were both killed in public service, assassinated, why not give this guy the Secret Service protection? It's the reasonable thing to do. This administration denies it to him for two reasons. One, because they realize he will have to pay this cost himself out of his own campaign funds, which is a huge amount of money, so it hobbles his campaign. But then secondarily, I guess they think it connotes on him a certain credibility if he has Secret Service protection.
Yep.
Again, I'm not for him. I'm opposed to his candidacy. I like a couple of his views, but overall, I'm a Trump guy. On the other hand, I don't want to see any presidential candidate shot and killed.
Question for you. So what with Mayorkas, don't you think it's a little too late, them impeaching him? And don't you think he already got the job done with getting all these illegals over here?
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, what is... Well, but I have a question for Roger, legit. What is the point of impeaching him now when Biden's presidency is almost done? What is the point?
It's largely symbolic. I think it's a demonstration that the immigration policies of this administration have failed. If they even have, they don't really have a policy. The policy is open the gates and let everybody in.
Right.
Yeah.
And in that regard, Mayorkas has actually been incredibly effective.
That's what I'm saying.
To say that
that's his
Mayorkas has
goal.
not been good at his job implies that his job is to stop people from crossing the border.
Yeah.
Right.
But if his job is to open the border and lead to the replacement of the American population with immigrants.
All the while insisting the border is
Of course.
secure.
Oh, yeah,
Because
which he has said.
We just saw a few weeks ago, Josh Hawley is going after him and, accusing him of being ineffective, of leaving the border open. And what is his defense? Well, my mother was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What's that got to do with anything, man?
Yeah.
But if his job is to open the border, he's incredibly effective.
And you guys realize this too, Raj. I mean, like perfect. You're like when people are like, what the hell's Biden doing? Biden's doing exactly what they wanted him to do. Mayorkas, amazing. And he sits there with that smug dude. Like, that's a face that you just want to just do bad things to.
You saw the thing with Biden a little while ago where he's insisting he doesn't have the power to close the border.
Yeah.
But
He does have
basically,
the
the entire Biden administration, his entire legacy as a president, could be summed up by an old man standing out in front of a helicopter yelling, "Give me the power! Give me the power!"
And he doesn't have it.
This is a very key point, which is he says, first of all, his Secretary of Homeland Security and his spokeswoman have insisted for months, a year actually, that the border is secure. Now he's asked, and he says, "Oh no, the border's not secure. I've been saying this for a long time."
Wow.
But the Republicans won't give me the tools. Well, you don't need any tools.
No.
The laws are in place today to seal the border. All it takes is the will. I'm not even sure you need more money. I think everything is in place to seal the border today. It's your policies. He repealed all of the policies of Donald Trump immediately upon becoming president, and that is what has opened our borders.
He left the building materials for the wall to rust. A few months ago, they started selling them off because they had nothing to do with them.
Yep. And mind you, just about the hell with the wall. All you need, and we found out in Eagle Pass in Texas, all you need is a little razor wire. And guess what? It went from Eagle Pass to 5,000 illegals trying to come over a day to 3. Think about that. Razor wire that the government was suing Texas and Governor Abbott. Like, get that up. You're going to hurt our Border Patrol agents. No, you stupid idiot. It's stopping the illegals. And I don't know if you saw this or not. I'm pretty sure you have, Raj. J.D. Vance from Ohio stated in an op-ed titled, "The Republican Plot Against Donald Trump," that's buried in this bill, okay? There's a text. It's a kill switch for the next Trump presidency. So the legislation explicitly requires funding for Ukraine well into the next presidential term. I think it's up to 2026, I believe, Roger, that if Trump refuses to spend money or if he negotiates to end the war in Ukraine, like as he has promised to do, they will undoubtedly argue that he has broken the law and will give them a predicate to impeach him.
Yeah, I think that's highly unconstitutional, first of all.
Okay,
yeah.
The president makes foreign policy, not the Congress, unless you're declaring war.
Right.
And we haven't declared war. So these airstrikes in Syria, in Iraq, who approved those? By the way, one of the articles of impeachment against Richard Nixon was bombing Cambodia without the approval of Congress. I don't remember the Congress approving these bombings. So Biden has been free to conduct a disastrous foreign policy. But in this particular case, tying the hands of a future president, I think it's unconstitutional, first of all. But it's tucked in there like a poison pill.
Right.
In other words, we're going to have to keep paying Ukraine forever.
Roger, just staying on Ukraine. What, and I get it, we're laundering money, and it boggles my mind that people don't get it. People are still wearing pins. I think Biden, during a Super Bowl commercial, had the USA attached with the Ukrainian pin, which drives me bananas.
Should never happen.
Roger, what is the end game? I know we saw, was it BlackRock? It has like a $400 billion investment to rebuild Ukraine. What is this left and right? I think it's a uniparty, Roger. I don't believe any of that crap. What is their goal with this whole Ukraine? To hell with our border, to hell with us. It's Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, Russia. What is it at its essence?
Well, first of all, war is extremely profitable for some people. And these are the people who donate to the politicians who constantly push the endless war. So this morning I saw a video of Tom Tillis of North Carolina. As far as I'm concerned, this guy is a shit stain in the underwear of the U.S. And he's saying,
That's amazing.
and he says that Putin is he's on his last leg. No, that's not true. Everything we're being told about this war is essentially false. People that I respect, Colonel McGregor, General Flynn, other military experts, say this is not going well for the Ukrainians. Their great offensive has failed. We're sending good money after bad. I don't know what the bottom line, I think, is about control. But war itself is the end game. It's the war itself that is so profitable for those who are involved in the war machine.
If we actually go watch, because from what you're saying and from what I'm seeing, they want a war. They're pushing Putin to the edge. A country that I don't think that we should have any business. He drew the red line. We crossed it with NATO. How close to something like that you think is possible? How to where we're declaring war with Russia?
I think we're on the edge of it today. I think it's the greatest single danger. I mean, look, I watched the Tucker Carlson interview. This guy has the cold look of a killer. He's not somebody I would want to mess with, and they're not going to lose this war. They're just not going to. So what's the obvious end result? World War III? Unthinkable.
Well, how does it go down? Do you think they cut our grid and then do we start a fight with Russia and then they cut our grid? How do you think it plays out? Because that's how I think the movie what's the movie with
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. It was kind of happened like that.
Well, that would
Did you see the movie, Raj?
I think that would be more. And it's funny that you say that because I have that coming up.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Because I'll get to that, Brady. Because my thing I was going to ask you, Raj, is what can we do? We see what's playing out. Look how amped up we are. Kelly gets mad about it. Alejandro, everybody gets pissed off. We all have Robert. Everybody that we talk to, and especially at Valuetainment, is up in arms. We're all furious the second time up in arms.